Good morning, Nick Collier here in my studio where it's a little bit warmer but not much, although outside is fairly warm. It's probably 50 degrees out. It's mid-December 2013, and we've got a reasonably interesting little project coming up here that should keep me busy for a period of time, maybe a week or something like that. And I'm going to spin you around here and show it to you. Basically, it's a hinge. Now, my nephew Thomas, who lives in LA, has a furniture business, and he was having trouble figuring out this hinge for this specific chair that he's been selling the heck out of. And here's a picture of the chair. And so we're going to make this hinge for him, and basically it's here's the chair, and this is the back, and it's a swivel back, so that the back will rotate, you know, just a little bit here and there to fit people's form. And so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 parts of this this process. Oh, over here is the bolt too. A little Allen bolt that goes in all the way through to the nut, a little washer here and a little washer here, and these two pieces, everything clamps up to, and these two pieces kind of rotate on each other. It's pretty simple, but you know, we're going to do 120 of them, so that'll take a little bit of time. Okay, the first part of our journey here is taking these this CPVC, which is basically hot water pipe, and we're going to cut 1.5-inch sections out of it and then bore it so that the aluminum rod, which also we're going to cut 1.5 plus of maybe 10,000 sections out of it, and then slide it inside of there. And that's basically going to be our hinge, is the aluminum on plastic, which is a nice smooth running surface. And so far we've got, oh, I don't know, 20 feet of plastic and maybe 15 feet of aluminum. So take our first cuts here, and we'll go from there. Pretty easy part of the procedure. Basically, I drew a perpendicular line to the saw blade, and I put a stop right there, and I'm just coming up and cutting off a bunch of pieces at 1.5 inches. Process is to clean up the little the edges and also remount the interior because we need to have an exact 1/2 inch. So cleaning up the edges is pretty simple, and I'm using my little south bend here just because it's pretty early in the morning, and my other lathe makes a lot of noise, and just want to kind of keep it quiet for the neighbors. So basically, instead of using my crank to crank this in, I'm just sliding the whole oops, and that happens when you don't tighten it enough. I'm sliding the whole reamer right on through. A little quicker, easier to deal with. Flip it over to the other side. Once again, cleaning up that edge. There we go. And we have a finished piece. Next. And I have 120 of these to do, so I'm going to be busy for a little while here. I will turn you off and save you the painful process of doing 120 of these. But we'll go ahead and finish this second one first. And I found that I have to run the reamer into that the second side, or else I end up with a little edge on the interior here. And looks like we're in pretty good shape. So we'll turn you off for the moment. So we've set this up, and basically we're going to take a 1/2 inch aluminum rod, and we're going to cut 1.5 inch sections out of it, and also trim it down a little bit until we end up with a piece that looks like this. 5/16 hole, and exactly, and I don't have the measuring right now to do that, but it's well measured. And I'm making 120 of these. So basically we're going to drill a hole. First we're going to move it out to its distance, and the way I set that up is I've got oops, sorry. And the way I set that up is I have a little piece of tooling adapted to a quick change. Loosen up my collet head, slide my piece out until it hits, tighten everything up. Oops, hang on here. Tighten her up, and this is my stop right here. And then I've got my cutoff tool, and my cutoff tool is going to do two things. It's going to cut off, but first it's going to trim off, there's about 3/1000 that I've got to take off of this surface. Okay. And the cool part is we cut and drill at the same time. I got about half of it drilled, and I got a little ink mark right here that tells me when I'm all the way down to the bottom. And at this point the metal's not really coming out, so it jams up pretty quickly. So I got to come in and chip out. There we go. And we got about another 1/4 inch to go here. And we're pretty well set up. One more pass. Okay. Now I'm using my drill bit as a catch. and it's hot. Now every fourth or fifth piece, and I'm on about the fifth piece right now, notice how the drill is wobbling around a little bit. So what I do is stop there, crack it, move it in just a little bit, and come in and trim the drill hole off, so I'm back to flat surface. One more. And then start afresh. But before I start fresh, I back up. Put my stop back in. Bring my tool bit up to there. Slide the metal. Okay. Take my stop back out. And we're ready to go. Set it at 1 or 0 on the digital. Of course you can't see the digital. And then just start cranking from both directions. Drilling and feeding at the same time. And then about every, as I said, about every fourth or fifth piece, I come back in and just check it to make sure we're in good shape. And what I'm looking for is this little sleeve to slide on and off very smoothly, and it does. So it's got just a little bit of a bind to it, which pretty much is what we want. Okay, well, back to drilling. One more pass. That looks good. Cut it off. Okay. And take her back. And you can see this one's just got a little bit of a jump to it, but not bad. And we're not looking at perfectly accurate here. It isn't like we're turning, 5,000 RPM. We're turning a half of an RPM because this is the back of a custom chair, and these are the hinges. Okay, so back to that, and I've got 80 some odd more to make, and well, I'm sure you'll have fun watching me. Okay, you're not going to watch me. Okay, now what we've got is we've drilled it, we've sectioned it off, but we've got one little dinky burr right on the inside there that's going to give us trouble. So I take my deburring tool and just whack it with the deburring tool real quick like. Zip. done deal. And then I want to just round off my edge just a little bit, this outside edge. So just a quick kiss with the file, and that will pretty much take care of it. Flip it around and do the same thing on the other side, and we're all set to go. You supplied me with these 1/2-inch dowels in walnut, and my job is to square up the end, which is not a difficult thing to do. No problem. And drill a hole in it, which is one more not difficult thing to do, especially in a nice little piece of walnut. And these little spacers are about a 1/2 inch wide, well, in fact exactly a 1/2 inch wide, so that's going to be an easy cut. This particular one I'm going to cut with a hacksaw, just because it'll be easier to do the one. We'll measure a 1/2 inch, cut it a little bit wide, I'd say about right there. Yeah, it's a smidge wide. And go ahead and run our hacksaw down the surface. Now when I cut all 120 of these, I'm not going to do it this way. I will probably pre-cut them on the saw, and then and they'll be fairly square, and then bring them back in. But just to do this one, for example purposes, we will do it this way. Crank it up, square it off, looks like about a 1/2 inch. Bore it out a little bit, and we're set to go. Okay, so we've got all of our components in place, and this is how the whole thing's going to work. If we take the little plastic sleeve, and I don't know if you can see it from here, but I'm going to knock all these off right now. And notice there's a hole in this frame, and the frame has a hole drilled here and up here, and these holes are line bored, so they're perfectly parallel with each other. Now basically what's going to happen, and I think these holes are in the wrong place, I think they come closer to the center, but I just drilled them. This is actually one of the frames that he gave me to work from, and this is basically the padding goes over this, and this is the rotator of the backing. So basically we take our little plastic sleeve, and we slide it in, and you can see it kind of going in there, and I can just push it all the way in. Probably a little hammer action would help get it to go flush. The metal sleeve goes into the pinhole here. The spacer goes outside here, but we need just a small washer to go in between the spacer and the and there's the washer there, to go in between the spacer and the metal tube. Let's see, the bolt goes through the chair part itself. The head of the bolt, which is an Allen bolt, gets hidden inside of the piece of wood of the chair, and then goes through here and through here, come on, there we go, and comes out here. And then this is really, in a sense, this is just a little safety washer. It in case something happens, this washer will sit there and hold everything together still. It will continue to hold everything together. Then the nut goes on, and it all gets pushed back up into here, and that's how the whole thing kind of sits. And you'll see that that the backing rotates fairly smoothly. Well, in fact, very smoothly. So take that apart, push our little metal thing back out, and then actually all of these things will be, once they go in, they don't ever come back out again, so they just kind of sit in there. And this is basically what I'm going to send him: a sleeve, a washer, a nut. So he'll get it, well, he's not going to get it like that. He's going to get one like this, and the rest of them are going to be in bags, and you can see that there's a bunch of them in there, and a few in here, a few of the metal ones in here. I've got to make another, I don't know, 100 of them or 80 of them, and then of course all of the nuts and washers. All right, this is Nick Collier, the end of another project, and we're going to send this off in the next couple of days, and everybody will be happy, and thanks for watching.